Hey, welcome back to Little Boy Customs. If you're looking to make a patch panel for this area right here to keep water out of your cab, and you only have a minimal amount of tools like this here, stick around. I'll show you how. Hey guys, before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and always turn that bell notification on. That way you can see all the upcoming episodes. Alright guys, so this is the area we're going to be making the patch panel at. You know the routine. Make you a template. You've seen my other videos, you know I've already shown how to do this. So we're going to fast forward that part. Got my template here. Take it over. Transfer the template over on the metal. Now that we've gotten the template over on this metal, we'll use a cutoff wheel. If you have an air compressor, one of these. If you don't have an air compressor, get you one of these. Either way. And then we'll use that to cut the metal shape out. Okay, we have our piece that we cut out there. We're going to put it up in there. And if you see, this is originally the car. This is the truck piece. Goes on the truck side. But we need to bend this piece of metal where it will turn and go into the car part of it. So, here's how I do that. I have a straight edge. I have this piece of metal. Put it up here. I put the straight edge on the car part. Mark your top. And then we'll mark the bottom. So, mark your top, which is right here. Mark the top, which is right there. Mark the bottom, which is right there. We already know that it should be pretty well straight by looking at the car. So we're just going to use our straight edge and mark a line. Alright, we're over here at the trusty vise. We have our mark, which is where we want to bend it at. Now I'm just going to put it in the vise here. So I put it in the vise, put it right where my mark's at. Now I'm going to use a hammer, hit it on this end, and just bend it over. For this job, I prefer this hammer, just because it gets it done a little faster. Now, if you're anything like me, you got tons of crap on your workbench, 99.9% of this junk will probably fall off as I'm hitting this. Just the way of life. As you see, we've started bending it. All we need to do is move the metal on down and keep this process up, lining up this mark here. Alright, as you can see, this is the part that goes with the truck. And we have it bent and turned so that it'll turn and go into the car. Let's go see how it fits. little persuasion, but she's in there. Building this. You can see from the top down, there's a little bit of a gap here. That's gonna have to be pushed over as we're welding it in. And then it appears that we're going to have to cut and use a smaller hammer to beat parts of this section here further into the car because the bend's not enough. It needs to be bent on around a little bit further. And then down here at the bottom, some of this needs to be cut out because the car comes out there. So we'll get our marker, we'll put this piece back on the truck, get our marker, mark that out right there so we can cut some of this out. Alright, as you can see now, the gap's closed up. If you don't have some sort of a clamp, like a welding clamp or something like that, you can always go down to your local hardware store, Home Depot, Lowe's, big box store, whatever, and get these wood clamps. Now, they're not great for whenever you're actually welding, but it will hold it there long enough to get it tacked on. So, you noticed? As you saw, I used a pair of these. Between that point there and the point that's in here, squeezed those two together until I closed up that gap the way I wanted it, and I have a small lip there to weld on. Now we still have to mark this out down here, which we'll do that now and cut that out. So the bottom half of this right here is way too long. Here's how I'm going to fix that. The truck cab is lower than the floor of the Grand Marquis. I am going to use this straight edge and my marker, go underneath the truck, put the straight edge up against the Grand Marquis floor, and mark on this piece here where I need to cut it out at. While I'm under there, that curvature that's on the front side here, I'll use my marker and mark that on the metal also so I can cut that extra part off. Alright. So we know that corner is where the truck's at. We know over here is, because of that mark there, is where the car's bottom at. So we'll draw this straight line right here. Do it again on this part here. So all of this here needs to be removed off, and this right here needs to be removed off. After all that, you can see we have a little bit of a gap right there. We'll actually pull this body over into that when we get ready to start welding. But we are good. Down here is a little bit of a gap also. It's going to take a little bit of pulling this part of the car towards the patch panel we made. Now, that, after we weld all this in, still need to make a small little patch panel for this hole right here that I didn't need and I cut anyway to keep water from coming in there. And then right down here, we'll need to make a cap to cap all that off. And that is how you make a patch panel on the cheap. Alright guys, now that we've made this patch panel, the only thing left to do is weld it all in. Want to shout out to a fellow YouTube station, the Holler Boy Garage. I see that y'all are subscribed to my station and I appreciate that. I'm curious, I've seen that y'all are built 2 of these trucks, or in the process of building the second one, already building a third one for a customer guy out there in Atlanta. So let me know, how do you make this patch panel? Maybe your way's better than mine. I don't know.